Hi, my friends. Welcome. All right. I just kind of wanted to come on. I had mentioned the other day that I was receiving some additional messages from the Blessed Mother, but I also kind of want to do a recap from the Blessed Mother channeling that I was doing on Good Friday. So we have a couple people joining on. You know, I received, well, let's just say, starting from, I would say, Ash Wednesday. Hi, guys. I was starting from Ash Wednesday. I had done a channeling here. And, you know, it really was like the gateway and the doorway to so many things that was going to be happening and shifting that I've been really kind of talking about for, you know, quite some time. I'm going to go over a little bit about the messages that were received here on Good Friday. And, you know, some of you who actually saw the or participated in the Good Friday channeling, these will be, you know, some of the same messages, but I'm going to just share a little bit more that I've been receiving throughout the last couple of days, because it's been like an ongoing reemergence of her energy. And I don't know if you guys, hi guys, Michelle's joining, Janet's coming on, Adriana is on, Mindy is on. So have you guys who have participated in the channeling of the Blessed Mother, have you felt a shift at all, or like a reemergence, or maybe more at peace with what is going on, whether it's, you know, feeling that peace from within? I always usually see that after I do some channelings, people start to shift in their awareness. I love sharing it out to all, Regina is saying. And yes, that has been the overall message of what I'm going to be talking about here today. That is being asked of myself and, you know, also of you guys too. But I do notice that after these, you know, meditations and these channelings that you guys participate in, that there's many shifts. So, you know, maybe for some of you, you have shifted from fear and more into hope and more of peace with what is going on around you, and really having that peace from within. And she was talking about, just to actually recap from Ash Wednesday, when she had come in, she said that, you know, there was going to be a lot of change in the next 40 days, of course. And Regina is saying that her heart is open and lighter, and that is beautiful. I have been feeling that myself, feeling much lighter, not as heavy or oppressed, you know, type feeling. But she had mentioned, going back to Ash Wednesday, that there was going to be so much change in the next 40 days leading up to Easter. And I remember saying that to you guys, let's just see how things are going to be, you know, changing. And wow, you know, if you think about it, just even going back to, you know, even the new year, I've been talking about this too, but especially from Ash Wednesday leading up to Good Friday. Yeah, so Regina is saying that happens when she watches, because I was talking about, you know, these really big shifts that happen with these meditations, and it's wonderful, because we need that. We need to shift out of, if we're in fear, or if, you know, whatever we have going on in our world is weighing us down. So I talked about on Good Friday, I really felt like this reemergence with the Blessed Mother and this stronger connection with her. I've talked about how, and I shared how my experience with the Blessed Mother even came to be. And yes, she's been saying, Regina is saying that she's been doing the rosary every day for everyone. Oh, blessings. Thank you. I've been holding on to my rosary at night, every single night, and praying too. Because that was her universal message on Good Friday, is that we really need to get back to praying. But just to kind of go through everything, I had my awakening with the Blessed Mother, as I shared, you know, on Good Friday. I did not have a standing relationship with her, which is just this is the conversion of the heart that she was talking about. Because even though, I had, a religious upbringing, I was not the person to go to church every week. It was a thing that we did back when we were younger, but after, I hit my teenager and older, I didn't go. And I always felt like, everything was contained within me. And really that's in truth, it's all contained, that relationship that we have with ourselves and the relationship that we have with, Christ, Buddha, any deity that you connect with, it's all contained, within. So, I had this experience with the Blessed Mother, and I didn't understand why, but, of course, hindsight, is 2020, which is what we're in. I realized it was for me to build up my own personal relationship with the Blessed Mother, and it has grown and blossomed into this beautiful connection. And that's why she was asking of me, and every year I do a Good Friday channeling, and even this year it was different. Her energy, I felt it more than ever before. And then she was talking to me about what she was asking of me, to be really be active in living her messages. And at one point I kind of was a little overwhelmed, and I said, oh, wow, what does this mean? We have Regina coming on, saying Divinely So, and Diane's coming on. Hi, Mama. And it was interesting because I had a little bit of fear, and I was like, well, what does that mean? Live her messages? Like, am I going to go to a convent or something and walk around with, maybe, a scarf over my head all the time? And, are people going to judge me? And that was the interesting thing. And it only happened for a second, but I got a little nervous. I was like, am I going to be, my family going to judge me? And then I realized that this is part of all the stuff that we are clearing and purging right now. So that was just an interesting thing that I wanted to share, that how I have been shifting in more of a conversion with her and a conversion within my heart. And that's what she was talking about on Good Friday. So that's obviously a very holy day, a very powerful day. She was placed, for those of you who have not seen the meditation or participated in it, you can go on my page, but I do plan on doing a YouTube, video with that. So you can definitely check that out. Yeah, Regina's saying she's working through you. It's not a judgment call. Absolutely. But understanding, when the human mind comes in, and that fear, because we're clearing so many levels of fear, right? So for a split moment, I know I have devoted my life in the past to a religious cause, or the cause of the word, so that was like a re-emerging of a little bit of a fear that I had to go through and purge. And Rob is coming on. Yes, I remember you from the Healing Grotto. That's wonderful to see you, and you're doing well. Denise is coming on. So she had placed on our hearts in this channeling meditation on Good Friday the symbol of a cross. And she said that the cross, which we know is a universal symbol of triumph. It represents, and this was really beautiful because it represents the darkest hour, the darkest days, right? If you think about the days leading up for when Christ was crucified, and he went on, and was crucified, and what that symbol is, and her placing on our hearts, and what that even meant for the people of eternal life, and his message after he gave his life for us. And so many of us are purging when our spiritual teacher, whether it's Christ or in another lifetime you followed and loved another spiritual teacher, you're clearing from when that experience in Christ's case, when he was crucified, you're clearing that energy, through your body. And a lot of people, I've learned that through my own experience. So she placed this symbol of the cross on our hearts, and she did speak about how we are going through this darkest day, just like Christ did. This was when the height of all of the virus was really here in our backyard, so to speak. And she really, was talking about that, the darkest days, this is triumph, this is hope. And she's guiding us through our own self-realizations. And I have spoken about this from the beginning of the year, that 2020 is going to be a time of great reflection, of solitude, seeing what is important. And she just really solidified that she spoke of when, to trust in her guidance, to lead her, like she is leading us the way to Christ, the way of the cross, using this universal symbol of what it means, this eternal life. This is through our darkest hours that we are moving through, and now we're going to be coming on the other end. She did speak of how fear, that so many have endured such great losses, of course, that the fear will, and the unrest will disappear. And that is also the symbol of the cross and what that represents, that peace and coming into that, that union with Christ and with God. We're releasing habitual fears, right, of change too, and other fears. And that's when I was just sharing in the beginning where that fear came up for me of being judged, and it probably was my own judgment too, and maybe the fear of the change of what is being asked of me. So it was just really interesting how that was coming back. And she also did talk about, and I have spoken about this before, that fear awakens people. So if you think about everything that I have shared about all of this fear that is being cleansed and purged from our bodies, from our own consciousness, and from the consciousness, the collective consciousness, and that we are going through this incredible purging, cycle. And it's been through fear, because fear is one of those things that really gets you, to look at your stuff. It really brings things to the forefront, and all of the things that need to be addressed within ourselves is coming on the avenue of fear. So when she places this, cross on us, it's to reassure us that we're going to be okay, that we're going to triumph over this challenge, but to have the faith and the trust of why all this is happening. But we need to also to pray. We need to come back to the place, as I've mentioned so many times before, and she also validated this as well. We have forgotten, we have lost our way, and that was the sign of the cross, bringing us back, getting us back on focus, back on the path, back on, reconnecting to ourselves, reconnecting to source, reconnecting to God's spirit, however you want to call it. Having the time now. I spoke about St. Francis. I received the messages from him, last year, and they're all starting to flow beautifully and together now. When I pieced it all together, I was like, okay, this has a rhyme and a reason here. And he talked about simplicity, that they're the way of Christ and the way how he lived. We've lost our way in this busy, moving, noisy world of wanting and taking it to the next level of what we can gain, what we can buy. And now we're being forced to, do we really need this? Do we really need this? Or do we just want this? Maybe you've been wasteful, I will definitely, say that there's been times where I threw something out because I was like, all right, I can just go get it again. And this is where I'm noticing even the smallest little things that, well, now I have to stretch everything, stretch the food and what is really truthfully necessary, versus want. And there are so many people that, you know, they always want to go to the next level, and they want to have the next thing, and they want to make their business bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and have more people and bigger is better. That's not the case. You know, that's where everything comes out of alignment, and you lose yourself in always wanting more, always wanting to be bigger, always wanting to have, you know, all the classes or all the, you know, people coming to you. And it's kind of like this off balance that we've had. And just wanting things for all, you know, for us, you know. So I'm noticing this, an integrity within people. Now with the energy update, Diane said she was just going to say that. I am noticing integrity with people. It's really just kind of amazing, like, you know, seeing the truth. And I've talked about this leading up to 2020, that we were going to hit a time of profound truth. And this is what she also was talking about, that we're going to see the absolute truth within ourselves, on just other levels. So, and now, because we've had the time to become quiet and go within, now we can really see, like really 2020 vision. Now we can really see what needs to be changed, where are our habitual patterns, what are our fears. A huge thing that is coming to the forefront is relationships. So I know so many people through, you know, just doing remote healings or Akashic readings, that the relationship aspects have been really pushed to the forefront. Because if you think about it, you know, we have this busy life. The husband goes to work, the wife goes to work, you come home, you have the kids. And then we lose sight, because we're just in this pattern of, you know, that Groundhog Day, and everything has come to a halt in that respect. So whatever has been not discussed or out of balance, or within the person, maybe they're a workaholic, you know, or maybe there was not as much communication between the couple. It's bringing up this profound self-realization, and this is exactly what she's saying, that she has been leading us into this profound self-realization. She also spoke about that so many people have disconnected from God, and that they hold him responsible for, you know, their pain, their challenges, and even been angry, you know, towards him. And this only furthers that separation. And we need, for us who are in the place who can pray for them, we can pray for their salvation. You know, some of them don't act like, you know, God doesn't exist, and some only connect to God when things are going right. Right? I know we have heard about that before. You know, people only really praying to God when shit hits the fan. But she doesn't want that, even though she, you know, she's going to be there, and God's going to be there, and Source is going to be there. But this is a time for really to take that inner quiet time and connect. And Regina is saying, yes, that's what I was saying too. It is a time to reflect on what is important. You know, really all about important of, you know, seeing what is important. Okay, so we also must pray. This is how we find our way. We find our way, and this is where we have this conversion of the heart. And I'm reflecting to my awakening with the Blessed Mother, and understanding that whole process was a conversion of my heart. And in my practice, I help people with that conversion of their hearts, so they can connect to that source within. And she has spoken about how we do have this heaven and earth within us, and we don't need to find that in, you know, our outside world. Remember how I was saying in the beginning, you don't have to go to a temple or a church or a certain place. to connect. You have it all right here. That's heaven on earth. And this is part of what is purging between the third and the fifth, and connecting that is so people can convert and have this conversion of the heart. And through all of this change and this darkest hour, you can really truly see and know that you have heaven in earth within you. So she was also talking about how if you truly believe in God, you have these religions who, hold judgment and criticize other people's beliefs. And if you truly believe in God and in the Word of God and live the life of God, you're going to respect their religions, right? So I thought that was a really interesting note that she was bringing up, on Good Friday about that. Okay, so let me see. I'm just trying to... She was saying that all of us, of course, have been created equal, and it has been man. There has been nothing that God has created that has kept us separated. That's all man. That's all, human doing that, taking that union and separating that. And that's the profound truth. And the conversion, like I was saying, it comes within us, and understanding that through the heart, it's the only way. And we do that, some people do that through fasting. When they fast, they did that as well. And some religions do that as well. But that's essentially, if you're not into fasting, I can understand that. But also, the main message was that to do it through prayer. Let me see what else she was talking about. Okay, the more vulnerable, I remember she was saying to me the other day, the more vulnerable we are and we become, the more human we become. So, and this is how more people connect. I'm just trying to remember how she worded it, but I guess it doesn't matter. That's the overall message, is that the more vulnerable, and I would say we are very vulnerable right now, and that has been something that we have all been feeling vulnerable if we go outside, feeling vulnerable just in general, because we have this incredible change that is happening, and change has been a habitual pattern of fear that we have experienced for eons. So we need to be more vulnerable. This allows us to connect more to the human side of us, because we are, sentient beings. We are compassionate beings. And that's more of what we are than the mental aspect or the intellect of us. So the more vulnerable we become, the more human we become, and the more we connect on a human scale to each other. And so I thought that was a beautiful message that she brought forward. And she also said too, some people have to see in order to believe, and interesting enough, we're in 2020, but blessed are those who have not seen and believe. So here we have this omniscient presence, and some of us maybe not having the visualizations or these, as my husband says, fantastical experiences that I have, but they still believe, and blessed are they. And this is all through conversion of the heart, because they just know within their true heart of hearts that they are connected to God, and the way that so many of us have been separated and have fallen out of that connection. And now we are in this time, this great evolutionary time. And what is happening is we're going to have a new way of being, and that's beautiful, having a new way of being, because the old, remember I kept saying, the old is going to fall, the old is going to fall apart, and it's fallen apart, it's breaking away. So all of this change that we're going through, if you are really solid with who you are And the Andromedans talked about this. I talked about this in the beginning of the year, that there was going to be so much change going on. If you were truly solid and grounded and connected to yourself and connected to God and connected to Source, Creator, no matter what goes on, outside of you, you have this inner sanctuary, you have this inner groundedness. And I gave the example, like if we were going to go up to, Mars or something, and we didn't have the gravity like we do here on Earth, you're going to have to rely on your inner groundedness if you're living on another planet. So that was like a really good, an example of people understanding, needing to have that inner connection and inner faith, or you're just going to live your entire life through fear, and it's going to just manifest like it did for me. I was fear of going to the doctor, fear of, driving down the road, fear of being in traffic, fear of leaving out of my house, fear. I was just riddled by fear back then. So, that's been like a really interesting thing that I have noticed. Gina is on. Hello, my friend. James is on. Welcome. And I have somebody saying, please pray for our church and our Sunday school children. Yes, we will absolutely pray. So I invite you guys, however you connect, moving forward, and I'm just going to kind of wrap it up, moving forward from this day out, now, regardless of whatever religion or whatever your belief is, just finding the words, within your heart. I remember when we were doing this global meditation, and I had gone upstairs and I asked my husband, I said, can you do this meditation and just pray? And, I think that made him a little standoffish. And I said, just whatever your intention is, if you have a pure heart and your intention is to wish people well, and to help, heal the planet and heal somebody, however you want to call it, you don't have to call it praying, just simply opening up your heart and just, thinking well wishes for somebody. So, you don't have to go over and, sit down with a rosary. You don't have to go, like I said, to the church. If you really just want to go and sit in your room and just connect to your heart and send love, that's praying. That's the conversion of the heart, my friends. So I'm going to pick a card. Oh my God. So so I'm just like shuffling cards, and this card fell out. And I swear to God, I'm not even making this up. This is Life Review. And in the beginning of the year, this is what I said, Life Review. And this is everything that I've been talking about for the last couple of months, that during the beginning of the new year, Archangel Jeremiah came in. I work very, very closely with him, and teaching others about Life Review, and not needing to get to the point of when you're crossing over to do your Life Review. I spoke about this a couple months ago on Facebook Live, and he was one of the first archangels that came in at the changeover of 2019 to 2020, along with Ariel, about the new directions that we're all going to be going in. And he is all about taking inventory of your life, or you already know that, and resolve to change and heal anything that is unbalanced. So you can see where I am also his messenger as well, because I talk about this all the time. So that was a card that just fell out, but let's just see for the collective group here. All right, so, and I was going to tell you that Gabrielle was the other angel that came in. Leadership. So this was another thing that the Blessed Mother was talking about, so thank you. And Gabrielle, by the way, if you want to kind of tie this all in, was the angel that went to the Blessed Mother, telling her that she was going to be with child. So of course she came out, and I'm sorry that, Archangel Gabrielle, I didn't mention you, but she was the other archangel that came in with Ariel and Jeremiah at the beginning of the year. And so many people now, so many people now are doing their life review. Maybe they worked in a job that they were just, hustle and bustle, and it wasn't fulfilling their sole purpose, or wasn't fulfilling them on the inside. And, now that they've had some time because we're having this change happening within us, that they're going to start taking on maybe a different occupation. I know so many people are going through this review process of their careers. Like, maybe I wasn't so satisfied and I was just stuck in that hamster wheel and that rut of getting up 9 to 5 and going to work and all of this. This is what also Archangel Gabrielle, I always talk that, not only, of course, that she is that communicator, but she had told me many years ago, she helps people get on their path of what they are really, truly here to achieve. So if you're like thinking about, like, do I do this? Do I go in this direction? Archangel Gabrielle. Okay, so, and a lot of us are starting to step out of their comfort zone and maybe take on maybe more of communication, doing things that have made them, maybe they've been behind the scenes and now they're wanting to, come out and really be seen. Here we go, 2020, right? So Diane's saying, yep, that sounds like her. All right, so last card for the group. Let's just see which one pops out for us, and we'll take it from there. Okay. All right. So, and of course, Uriel, I channel him a lot as well, and he is that awakener. So Regina say, yeah, a lot of people are talking about that. I guess this is everywhere where the time is important to bring happiness. Absolutely. Great reflection. And this is also Uriel too, because he is the awakener. And I will tell you, everything that is happening is for, this dark and this light. Uriel is the dark and the light. I always have talked about him all last year, how we need to do our review, with Jeremiah, but also to see our shadow self, what within us, are we not speaking our truth? Are we not able to see our truth? And he is the awakener. So we're in this fear period, which fear awakens. And, he is with I always say with the guiding light, he shines that light on what needs to be changed. And the message here is trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. So if you're feeling like you need to do a job change, you feel like you need to do some life review, you feel like you need new direction, he will lead you through that because he's the illuminator. He's an awakener, but also an illuminator. And now I just wrote down, like I was saying, with the energy update, with the realizations, if the partner is not right for you, if your job's not right for you, so on and so forth, seeing the truth, because now everything has been quiet, this deep introspection. And I wrote down this fear and this virus is helping to awaken so many souls as possible. So you're going to see a massive, massive shift of people living more connected to themselves, more speaking their truth and living their truth, and also connecting to, source and to, metaphysics and spirituality. Mark my words. I will bank on that. All right, my friends. So thank you for joining me at 333 to go over some of these messages and recapping of the messages of the Blessed Mother. I am going to do a meditation with the Blessed Mother and put that up on my YouTube page. And I'll get that out as soon as possible. My YouTube page, by the way, is Jen Post Blue Star Channeling, so you can check that out. And so blessings to all of you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, do your work, connect, pray. This is the conversion of the heart that the Blessed Mother is talking about, okay? And when you open your heart, you're going to see how you're going to work your way back to the way and to the truth, all right? So blessings, and I love you all, and I will connect and talk to you soon. Anyway, hold on. Regina's just saying, why did it take a global problem to awaken? There you go. That's an answer within your question right there, Mama. Think about all the people just not paying attention and just wanting to, not, really focus on what's important and push things aside, like, okay, I'll deal with that, tomorrow. And remember what I said, fear awakens. I've been actually saying that for a couple of years, that fear awakens, and it did for me. It absolutely fear awakens. So in order to see and to build a new way of being, you really have to break down. I've shared with you guys many times before that when I was in seminary school, I had to break down my identity to the point where I had no identity. I mean, I was broken down to, zero. And that's what's happening. So there is going to be a lot of stuff, and it's going to be our role who has been doing this work already and who has been connecting to ourselves and to spirit, to really hold the space for all of these other people who are having a really hard time and going through that maximum point of separation, to help them find their way. So this is the talk too. This is what I was talking about, that, she was asking me to be active in living and sharing her messages, but it also means for you too. Okay. So just bear that in mind, and see how your conversion, unfolds, like the unfolding of the Sacred Heart. All right, my friends, I will see you all very soon. Enjoy your Saturday and your family, and I will connect soon. All right, blessings. Bye.